You guys are all wrong. Absolutely wrong. Hold on, start names. Luigi da Porto. You guys didn't know that Romeo and Juliette was actually an Italian story. So the story goes is that, okay, so what are the two names of the families in Romeo and Juliette? Okay, the first one, let's start with the M is what?
Montague, right? Yes.
But it's actually Montaigne.
Say something.
Just like the city of Montaigne, right?
I didn't know that.
Capuletti, right. So it was actually two Italian families that were fighting. This is actually part of the true story. That they were actually fighting over, there was a struggle over the power in Verona in this area. Although we're technically in Vicenza, I gotta make sure I say that. Daniela got really upset that we said, is this in Verona? She said, no, this is Vicenza. But in this area of Verona, there was a Scala family, lords that were all true. And about the two houses of the two families that were fighting against each other, the Montecchi and the Capuletti. So it was a really popular story in the 14th century, and actually the Italians were big into the theater. They would go to the theater a lot, and so what happened was these traveling troops that would go around and perform the shows, and it actually got really popular throughout France and then throughout England and everything else. So William Shakespeare heard about it, and he heard actually about a couple of different stories. It started with Luigi da Porto, and then went to a couple other people. It was published three different times before William Shakespeare heard about it. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show the paintings. So these paintings are referenced right around 1939 is whenever they were developed, or when they were painted on the walls. So the name of the fresco painter, his name is Pino Casarini. So he's the one that actually made these in 1939. The first portrait, we're going to go, basically it tells the whole story of Romeo and Juliet, from the left to right, top to bottom, and then we'll go on the other side. So the first one on the very top, that's actually Luigi da Porto whenever he was coming up with the story of Romeo and Juliet. The second painting in the middle on the top is whenever the two families were fighting against each other. So the Montagues or the Montecchi and the Capuletti on the Verona street. So they were actually fighting in the city of Verona. They were just two families that were fighting for power. The one on the right is actually William Shakespeare. So you notice he's not writing anything. Because he just was taking the papers from Luigi da Porto, putting it in the book and calling it his own. So then on the bottom left, so it shows the arrival of Romeo at a Capulet party. So you remember whenever in the book, whenever they start fighting. So that was when Romeo arrived at the Capuletti party and started additional brawls. The middle one is just the party. It was just showing the different party whenever they were having them before. You can see Romeo in the background as he was coming in the door. And then that's where he meets, or later he meets Juliet right there on the bottom right. So it's going on the story. And then on the 7th, you go over here, this is the next painting up here. You have Romeo and Juliet, that's after they fall in love. And you can see that he's crawling up the ladder to the balcony. So just so happens that this balcony is presumed to be the balcony of Juliet, the one right out this door. So if you can't see it right now, but you can open this door actually and go out on the balcony after we're done eating or whatever. But if you go out the door, if you look right out, it goes right towards Romeo's castle, family castle of the Montecchi. Let's see. Lost my place. Okay, so next you have the wedding. So you can see the secret wedding that they had between the two. And it was in the name of the friar is Friar Lawrence. No relation, I don't think. No relation, okay. Then next you have on the bottom left here, you have the duel, and that was between Romeo and Juliet's cousin. Does anybody know Juliet's cousin's name? I heard it actually. Tybalt, I don't know how you say it exactly. So that was the duel between the two. And then on the bottom right here in this section, you have the exile. So that was when Romeo and Juliet, they were saying farewell, and then Romeo was being exiled out. Okay, and then, so of course Juliet was all upset, and then the top on the top left here, it was whenever she went back to the friar to get the magic potion, which of course was to simulate her death, right? But it was not real. So the next one on the top right was her funeral. So she really didn't die, but it looked like she was dead because she took the magic potion. So then, of course, Romeo heard about it, so he came back. That's the bottom left on this side, and that was where he returned from. Does anybody know where he was at, where he was exiled to?
No.
It was Livorno. The beach. The beach of Livorno. We're making history right now. It was actually actually Mantua was the name of the area he was. Mantua. And then, of course, the bottom right, you know, he kills himself, and then Juliet, then she stabs herself as well, and then they both, the tragedy of the story. So, I just wanted to be able to, because it's kind of a cool story, and I wanted to be able to point out too, so you can actually, we can open the door and go out, you know, have a cigar or something.
Perfect.
So I think now we're getting ready to start the second course, and then after we do the second course, we're going to chart our glasses and do a toast, so we'll do that there, so continue on, and I hope you guys are enjoying the food.